Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, earthlings, peoplings everywhere. Hope you're all having a fabulous day. Finally, the sun is out and shining here properly. Oh, it's been raining. We had a biblical hailstorm here the other night. I mean, it was unbelievable. There were hailstones, like they weren't quite as big as golf balls, but they were big. Thunder and lightning. It was awesome, actually. I wanted to talk to you all today about something quite serious. Right, now bear with me, because I've got a serious point to make here. I am not in any way, shape or form trying to garner sympathy for Harry. But what I'm going to try and do is run a scenario by you that could happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it could happen, and so that you're prepared. Let's put it that way. And I'm sure a lot of you, this has already occurred to you, actually. I have made videos on this subject before. About 3 or 4 years ago was the first time that I asked everybody, how do you think the story of Harry and Meghan will end? Because it will. It will come to a crashing end at some point. I know a lot of people think, they deserve each other and live out their days together, and that may well be the way it turns out, and they'll end up like David and Wallace, who from the photographs to me really look like a pair of tortured souls. I think Harry and Meghan already look like that, no matter how much she pretends they're in love. Since he's lost basically all hope of getting his IPP status and his security that she wants, I'm sure he does as well. Actually, he probably wouldn't give a toss if he wasn't with her. Ever since that's changed things, and that was only a few days ago. Now, I've spoken to other people about this behind the scenes, and it's my belief that it's not inconceivable that Harry may depart this world. Now, what I mean by that is he has already put himself in a very, very vulnerable, delicate and dangerous position. He's written a book and he has been extremely open about drug use. How can I put this? It wouldn't surprise me to wake up one day to world headlines that something has happened to Harry. And my reason for making this video is, in that eventuality, I think everybody needs to perhaps not take whatever scenario is initially presented as a fact and as the way he has left this planet. He has put himself in a position not only of admitting drug use, of being a fragile mentality. If you see what I mean. It wouldn't be difficult for some people to suggest that it would be accidental. Oh, whoops, he was taking some drugs and he took a little bit too much. Or that, and this is only a joke, that he had some laced flower sprinkles. That's a joke. Or it could be that because of security, there was a woman, for example. Let me talk about Anne Woodward. I've spoken about her a lot before. Anne Woodward, this is like a 1930s, 1940s kind of era, was a very similar character to Meghan Markle. She, how can I put it politely? I think she sat on the lap of a very, very rich man, Woodward Senior, and I think she was his favourite to sit on his lap. And then she married his son. And they're a very wealthy family in America, very old money, like the equivalent of aristocracy in the UK, but in America. And the marriage between Anne and her husband did not go well. They knew the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. They frequently had arguments. She alleged that there'd been prowlers on the property. They were fearful, security and all that. And then one night he got up and she blew him away with a gun and then said she thought he was an intruder. And oddly enough, his mother helped her go along with that because his mother didn't want any scandal. And she got away with it. So she basically murdered her husband and got away with it. I see a lot of parallels. So I mean, that is definitely something to consider and think about. I mean, it's not inconceivable that if Harry or Meghan heard a bump in the house, something falls over, that they might panic, misinterpret what that noise is, and bang, and one could harm the other or worse, the children, because of heightened states of paranoia. I think his interview that he gave with the BBC demonstrates the fragility of his mind and the sense of heightened paranoia. When people become paranoid, and I've had it myself on more than one occasion, you actually become more of a danger to yourself if you become too paranoid. A little bit of paranoia is good. Paranoia can keep people safe, can keep people alive, but too much of it can become a danger. For example, Princess Diana became so paranoid of, she knew, I mean, people did have it in for her, but she didn't know where precisely, and that's why she got rid of her security, which obviously, if they'd been there, it could have been a very, very different ending. I'm just saying, if I would, let's talk hypothetically, all right? Let's go into Fiona's imagination. I wake up one day, maybe next week, maybe next month, because I don't think this could be very far off. And the headline is Harry's gone. Police attend mansion, something's happened. And then of course the world is all, the press and everybody talking, what happened, how did it happen? And then like a week later, coroner, or however it works in the States, I presume it's the same, says, oh, it's drug overdose. It was fentanyl or something like that. Not that Harry's ever admitted to taking that type of drug, but it's an overdose of some sort of chemical. Then the press will speculate, was it self-harm, was it accidental? I mean, I think this is why I want to talk to you guys about this, because I think it's really important that as many people as possible are keeping their eyes and their ears open and watching for any sign of something like this. I don't honestly believe Harry would take his own life. I just don't think he would. If he was gonna, he'd have done it by now. Good God, he's done 5 years with that woman, hasn't he? Could he have an accidental overdose? Yeah, I suppose that's possible. But I mean, he's a pretty experienced drug user, isn't he? Probably not. So, if I were to wake up and to see a headline like that, my antennas would be up immediately. I'd be like, what the hell's gone on here? And I would hope that obviously authorities and police would look into it very, very carefully to establish what's happened. But that's not always the case, is it? That is not always the case, and that's where you guys come in, because you are living witnesses, actually, of royal history and how things have happened. Oh, VE Day yesterday, wasn't that bloody marvellous? I love that. I tell you what a good-looking family the royals are. I mean, all of them. I loved Princess Anne's uniform. Wow, she's got a fantastic figure, hasn't she? I loved all of them, and the kids. George, Louis and Charlotte. Wow, she is, I mean, they're all stunners. Both the little boys are going to be devastatingly good looking like their father, and Charlotte is going to be like a cross between her mother and she is a cross between her mother and Princess Diana, really, because she's a girl and she's got William, so much of William in her. Oh, it's they're going to do the country proud, I'm sure. And that was lovely to see all of that. And I'm glad that they're just sort of blanking the Harry thing. This is just my thoughts on, you see, Harry He's banged on about security. Now, there are lots of things about security. One of the biggest things about security is secrecy. You know, that people don't know how it works, don't know too much about you, don't know how you've got your security set up. I mean, I have a lot of security, and I'm not like a VIP, but I have a lot of security. I've shown you guys some of it, but by no means all of it or the most important parts of it. You know, he's really, and then to make him, to display to the world how emotional he is, I could see a lot of people going along with, oh, he's done himself in, or he's taken too many drugs one night and had an accident. And I for one, if that ever happens, I will not instantly believe those theories. Certainly not. I am a bit of a conspiracy theorist. Not always, but I think it might put certain parties in certain advantageous positions, like there'd be no need for divorce, for example. Removal of titles would be out of the question. I mean, it just would. You know it would. So I'm not giving him any free passes. I'm not giving him any sympathy. I do question, because I remember headlines years ago where they said, someone had said, or an insider or a source or something, who knows if it's true, that he had a certain person had persuaded him to stop taking his medication. Now, that type of medication takes weeks, if not months, to build up and balance. So to just come off it and then, just have whatever you like, some mushrooms out the fridge or smoke a bit of pot. And then added to that, I saw other articles about sound and light baths. Well, to me, that sounds like hypnosis. And hypnosis is a very, very powerful thing. And it's almost like when I hear Windsor talking, I'm thinking he has been hypnotized, because he's utterly convinced of the most ludicrous things ever. So his opinions have not been formed through logic or working things through in his own mind. And he's been isolated, and he is really, really vulnerable. And I know none of you guys would ever want to see anything happen to him or Meghan or the children. That's not what we're all about. And I dare say the royal family would think, bloody hell. Can you imagine? So, I mean, that's just really the nub of this video. I hope a lot of you understand where I'm coming from and why I'm trying to put it as delicately as possible. Because it is not an inconceivable scenario that a headline like that would appear at some point. I'll leave it at that, and then we can talk about it in the comments. In the meantime, I have some news. I'm going to the ball at Lady C's. And that's kind of wonderful, isn't it? I'm a bit nervous about it, but I'm really, really looking forward to it. And, so that means I'm going to the UK, which of course, then I've got to arrange a lot of stuff here, because I need somebody to be with the cat and look after everything for me. And I've got someone lined up for that. But it means I'll be in the UK, and I'm hoping to visit a few people, but I don't know how it's going to work out, and I'm not sure how long I'm going to be in the UK. So I just thought I'd let you all know that for what it's worth. The railings are coming on. This one has got its lacquer on, and the ones below. This one's yet to be polished. Lots and lots and lots of polishing and perfecting, and I'm actually really enjoying doing that. It's a creative thing, and then I'll get the other side up and do the same there. And it's getting better and better. I hope you can hear me over the wind. So anyway, thoughts and opinions. I look forward to hearing your thoughts and opinions below. As I say, this is nothing to do with sympathy. This is to do with, can you imagine if something like that happened? There'll be a big blame game for a start, won't there? There'll be, it's all the evil press. It's the evil royal family, right? There'll be that for number one. Then all the evil TikTokers, Instagrammers, YouTubers, commenters. There'll be a massive blame game. You know that. And so when blame games like that start, and I saw it with the late Princess Diana, the press were so busy defending themselves and attacking each other, they were not watching and documenting exactly what was happening, and neither were members of the public. Now, we as a group, we can focus if something like that were to happen, rather than to get sidetracked into blame games and who did what. It would be more, let's look at facts. How did this happen? What was this chemical? Etc., etc. And really pay attention to him a little bit, his behaviour, and any further developments that happen in the near future. As I say, I have done videos about this before, and I genuinely hope it does not end that way. I really do hope it doesn't end that way, but I have a fear that is where it's going to end. Well, we shall see, won't we? Thank you all very much for listening, and may your God go with you. I will see you below.